My question would be more on constitutional change. Okay, it has been argued for some time now by many that the 1987 Constitution, which took effect in 1987 under the leadership of then President Corazon Aquino, needs to be revisited. Either it will be amended or revised altogether. Now, on this note, are you in favor of constitutional change? Yes or no? And why? And if the answer is yes, how would you propose it? Would it be an amendment or would it be a revision? Now, if it's an amendment, what specific provision in the Constitution would you want to amend? Now, if it's revision, because that's two different things, then are you in favor of a parliamentary form of government as against to presidential, what we have right now? And at the same time, are you in favor of a federal system of government as against to a unitary system that we have at the moment? So that is the question. So it's up to you to put it together, your answer, in briefly.
Thank you, Ms. Anna.
you.
For this round, we start with Secretary Panelo. You have 60 seconds.
Unang-una ho, ako'y pabor dyan. At kailangan po yung foreign ownership, baguhin na natin yan. Kailangan na kailangan, like for instance, dun sa renewable energy, abay kailangan, ang sa ngayon, 40% pwede lang silang pumasok, ownership. Mahirap pang kumuha ng mga partners. Kaya kailangan, taasan natin yan para makapasok ang investors. Pangalawa, gusto ko pong baguhin yung pagpili ng mga justices, ng mga judges. Sa akin pong pananaw, yung pong present system, mali yun. Kailangan, base natin sa examination at oral para papasa sila, kaya sila i-appoint. Para wala po silang utang na loob doon sa mga nagpapadrino at sa appointing power. Ayan po ang pinakamahalaga sa...
So you're in favor of amendment, not revision?
Aba, marami po kasi, kulang ang oras natin para isa-isahin ko yon.
Yes.
Pero sa ngayon, yung dalawang yon.
Thank you. Deputy Speaker Marcoleta.
Sa either revision or amendment, ang importante po ay may mapalitan tayong mga ilang provision dyan. Unang-una naman, kahapon po pinag-uusapan yung pag-claim sa Saba, pero ang sabi ko, hindi natin magagawa yon sapagkat sa 1987 Constitution, inalis po yung historic right or legal title. Kaya po kung gusto nating i-pursue yung claim sa Saba, ibalik po yun na nandun sa 1973 Constitution. At ako po ay laban din sa political dynasty. Gusto ko po tanggalin yung as may be provided by law para hindi na po kailangan magbatas sapagkat wala naman pong sigurong legislator that will legislate against his interest. Hindi mangyayari po yung anti-dynasty kapag nilagay po yung as may be provided by law. Dapat period na yun. At yung nga pong economic provisions talagang, marami po talagang dapat baguhin doon. Kailangan nating maimbita yung maraming mga ngalakal at magbibigay ng kapital dito sa ating bansa.
Thank you. Senator Gringo Honasan.
Whether it's amendment or revision, it must address certain issues. Unity, productivity, centralized planning, decentralized execution. If we decide to move into a federal form, no part must be bigger, stronger, or richer than the whole. Otherwise, there is no logic to this being a republic. Those will be the issues.
Okay, let me clarify things first now. Because when you talk about constitutional amendment, what you do there is you just revise or you just change the text of certain provision. But when you talk about revision, you actually propose a change in political structure in the country. Like for example, from a presidential to a parliamentary form. So that's why I'm asking which of which you would push for if you be elected in the Senate. Because when you revise, it means you have to choose parliamentary, federal, presidential, or parliamentary. So that's two different process, I think, or nature of change. So that's why you make a choice, amendment, revision, then the follow-up
Dr.
question.
Anna, if it's an either or,
It's an either or.
I would go for revision.
Okay,
And we do it now.
okay.
And we decide that this occupies top priority so that we can address systems and not personalities. And that includes the political party system. Let me add that I have not changed my position on political parties. When I just noticed Yusek Pimentel and Dr. Padilla getting mad with Dr. Claire, I defer to their better judgment.
Thank you. Senator J.V.A. Hercito.
I'm in favor of amending the 1987 Constitution because it's been more than 40 years since it has been written. The world has changed, so much. By the time it was written, there was no such thing as World Wide Web, internet information technology. The world has become so small at this point. So we need to make the Philippines more attractive to foreign investors. That's why I'm more particular that I am in favor of amending certain economic provisions, be it allowing foreigners bigger share by owning land. Anyway, hindi naman nila maiuwi yung lupa, no? Pwede sila mag-invest, but the land will stay here. So we have to study that, but I'm in favor of really of amending the economic provision so that we can adapt and be attuned to the changing times and be more competitive as compared to our ASEAN neighbors.
Okay, Mr. Jess Aranza.
I'll go for revision. And manner, I would like it to be a con-con so that it will avoid former mga politicians to meddle again. And I don't want to have some amendments because it's so hard to amend, and especially giving people, the foreigners, to own land. The moment they come in and go into subdivision of residential, then that will be the end of the ability of our poor people to buy house and lot. The price will rise. Kaya sana, doon lamang, if they want to, then they do reclaim. And when they reclaim, they can do whatever they want. But not an existing land that will be for our poor brothers and sisters in the Philippines.
Hey, Dr. Mengita Padilla.
I'm in favor of revision. I think we should really consider a federal form of government. I believe it should also be done early. Whatever revision should be done early. We have to give more leeway for foreign ownership of certain businesses so we can be more competitive in the world. And I also agree about the political party system. We have to revisit that as well. So I'm for revision. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have Ms. Noor Mahal Kirao.
Yes, I'm for revision para federal system government. Kasi at least magkakaroon ng kanya-kanyang plano para in every state, yung Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. At least hindi nakakalimutan ng Mindanao, hindi nakakalimutan ng Visayas, and some parts of the Philippines. Kasi yun yung medyo napag-iiwanan pagdating dito sa, kasi ang focus is nasa national lang. So siguro dito sa about the Sabah claim, siguro i-revise din yun. Kasi kami yung naapektuhan bilang isa sa direct heirs. Naapektuhan ako, pati yung mga kamag-anak ko.
Okay, thank you. Now we have Mr. Ding Diaz.
The political geographical division of our country is really ideal for a federal system of government because we've got regions and each region can become federal states. However, there is no state that will survive without a strong economic base. So we go back to economics. Now, I would like to go back to prior to 1986. We are doing a lot of good things with the parliamentary system of government. We were able to minimize red tape and the government bureaucracy was getting to be efficient. Okay? However, because it was a Marcos creation, or so what's thought, then, of course, the framers of the 1987 Constitution did not want it. But let me say something. I believe a shift to a parliamentary system of government could be the saving grace for our country and our people.
Thank you. Yusek Asra Pimentel.
Definitely, I am for the revision of the 1987 Constitution because I call the 1987 Constitution an emotional emotional constitution. Minadali ang paggawa nito, hindi masyadong napag-isipan, hindi dumaan sa mas masusing paggawa. Ituloy ang pagbabagong sinimulan ng Pangulong Duterte. He already created the Constitutional Commission to study the 1987 and propose a new constitution. We must move for the parliamentary federal system of government wherein Vice President and President will be voted as one, and they will be another term for the President and Vice President. Sayang ang ating Pangulong Duterte. Napakagaling, napakaganda ng performance, hindi mabigyan ng pagkakataong mamunong muli. And there should be regional representation in the Senate for the senators, 70-30 sharing of national wealth, anti-turncoatism, and strengthening of local government units.
Thank you. Let's hear from Secretary Manny Piñol.
The Constitution is a living document reflecting the feelings, aspirations, the dreams of a people at a specific time. The time is now to revise the Constitution. Let's move towards federal parliamentary form of government. We have a working model, the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, although it is a hybrid because they have an assembly, but at the same time they also have congressmen and mayors. But BARM is working very well. As the former point person of the President for the BARM, I can tell the whole country that the BARM is working very well, and we could actually study the success of BARM in as far as bringing government closer to the people is concerned. Now, on economic reforms, yes, I'm in favor of economic reforms, but I am against the 100% ownership of land in the Philippines. Mauubos yung lupa natin sa mayayamang dayuhan kapag binenta natin yung mga lupa natin.
Okay, maraming salamat. And now we move on to Secretary Bellica.
Yes, parliamentary federal form of government revision. At una ko pong babaguhin ay ang justice system. Napakahina po ng justice system dito sa Pilipinas. Halos wala napaparusahang kriminal at korap. Dahil nagtatambak ang kaso sa korte at meron kulang na kulang po ang mga judges. You have only 2,500 judges to adjudicate for 110 million Filipinos. You know, kaya meron isang korte, sabi ko na I have 6,000 cases and may backlog. Kahit magtapos ako ng isang kaso, isang araw, 365 cases lang matatapos ko. Kaya ho hindi napaparusahan. I will strengthen the justice system. I will add more courts, add more judges so that napaparusahan po ang mga kriminal at korap. Dahil corruption po talaga ang dahilan kung bakit naghihirap ang ating bayan. At kung mapaparusahan po yan, maibabalik ang penalty of death sa mga heinous crimes and corruption, marami pong babait dito sa Pilipinas.
Follow-up questions?
I have a follow-up question. Okay. Sa mga nagsabi na they want to have kind of a constitution, revise the constitution or propose a new constitution, and there are some of you who said that you want federal system at the same time parliament. Now let's go back to parliamentary. Why do you think we need to why we need to change to a parliamentary form? What's the advantage of having a parliamentary form of government as against to a presidential form of government?
Well,
go ahead.
In a parliamentary form of government, you can change a bad leader at any given time, and you can hang on to a good leader as long as you want to.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Marcoleta, Congressman Marcoleta.
The other positive aspect of a parliamentary government is that there is a fusion between the executive and the legislative departments, and therefore may expedite po ang mga batas na gagawin because they consult with each other. Hindi matagal ang proseso, lalong-lalo na kung ang mga batas na iniisip natin ay kailangan madaliin, kagaya po ng halimbawa kanina ni Dr. Ang na imminent po ang problema na kinakaharap ng ating mga seafarers. Ito ay masusolusyonan kapag ang dalawa ay very cooperative departments of government.
Okay, thank you. Any rebuttal? Okay, Secretary Panelo?
Ang dagdag pa po doon, pag parliamentary kasi, as correctly stated by Congressman Marcoleta, may fusion. So in other words, hindi na sisisihan ang dalawa. Sapagkat magkasama nga sila A vote of no confidence lang, palit ka na. Pangalawa, yung pong magiging issue sa election, hindi na personalities, kundi political parties na. Yan ang kagandahan.
Okay, Ms. Pimentel, go ahead.
Exactly. Under the parliament system of government, political parties will be strengthened, representation will be fair and objective, as well as in the parliamentary, based on studies all over the world, parliamentary form of governments are the less corrupt governments because yun na nga, madaling palitan ang leader na masama ang performance.
Thank you. Mr. Ding Diaz.
Daphne,
Yes.
just a follow-up. In the past, the Chacha Express started in the House. Pero ang pumipigil nito ay Senado. And you're all running for the Senate. So ako po'y natutuwa na parang lahat kayo ay gusto ng Chacha. Ito po'y matutuloy sana kung kayo po'y mahalal bilang senador ng Republika.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Ding Diaz.
In response to Vice Governor Suplico.
Please do, please.
Yes. Probably the reason for this is that we are running not for ourselves. We are running to further the interest of the Filipino people, which has long been suppressed by the wrongful leaders that has been being elected in our country, whose interests are all what are theirs, not what is the people's.
Okay, anyone? Okay, go ahead, Senator Honasan.
One major consideration is the cost. Not only the economic or financial cost, the political cost, the social cost. It is said that the 87 Constitution was a very angry Constitution. And it's a rule in life. You do not make decisions when you are angry, happy, tired, or all of the above. Lastly, one consequence is the local government code. We devolved authority and responsibility. We forgot to devolve the money. These are things that we should address frontally.
Go ahead.
In defense of the local government code, I believe that Senator Nene Pimentel fought for the correct distribution of the national wealth. In fact, right now we are very happy that President Duterte really fast-tracked the Mandanas-Garcia ruling para sa lahat ng local government units.
Okay, Secretary Panelo.
Doon po sa revision ng Constitution, meron nagsabi rito na maganda federalism, which is true. In fact, yun po sinulong ni Presidente Duterte. Subalit, nung isang araw nga, sinabi niya, wala, I give up. Kasi ayaw ng taong bayan. Pero mukhang nakikita natin, mukhang hindi naman taong bayan ang ayaw. Mukhang mawalang galang na sa mga senador. Sila ang kumukontra. Alam niyo mo bakit? Under federalism, mawawala yung kanilang term. Kasi kailangan mo ng mga dalawang senador sa region makakat yung term nila, kaya kinontra nila.
Okay, Dr. Uy.
Sige.
Go, Ma'am Ana.
Just one more.
Okay. Mr. Marcoleta and Senator JV.
Ang problema po kasi, bago natin ma-revise o ma-amend ang Constitution, ay kailangan po talaga either a constituent body or a constitutional convention. Pinagtatalunan po kasi namin palagi kung ano ang gagawin, kung Constituent Assembly, ang gusto naman ng Senado palagi, separate voting. Samantalang ang ating saligang batas, pwede namang joint voting. Ito po yung pinaka-problema natin kaya hindi natin ma-revise. Kailangan alisin natin ang pamumulitika para kung gusto nating i-revise, ma-revise natin o kaya kung i-amend ang
Senator JV.
Siguro matanong ko lang po tungkol sa federalism, no? Anybody can answer. Maganda ho yung idea, no? We will give we will have autonomous states. No? Ang problema ho natin, ang kailangan i-address doon, yung pong mga mahihirap na regions, baka lalong mas maiwan. In the study of federalism, no? Okay po takin niya, kaya lang, ang magsusurvive lang ho is Calabar Zone, NCR, and probably Cebu region. So baka anybody can...